So if we are looking at like chapter 1, test stuff, I'm going to make up my own like it. So let's say I'm going to use the same variables. I'm going to use different numbers. So negative 7x plus zy equals z. This is going to be very similar. Plus 40. Okay. So the only things I've changed is the numbers.
Perfect.
So we want to solve this. Hey guys, I'm reviewing a problem from the chapter 1 test. This is very similar to number 11 because Caleb was stuck. So if you want to see a little bit of review, this is kind of how this is going to roll. If you don't care to see review on chapter 1, keep doing whatever you're doing. If this is too distracting for you, the library is available that we are able to work. There's computers in there or just open workspace. But I'm just going to review solving this for x. Sorry, z, right?
Z, yeah.
So this is what makes it hard, is that we got to solve for z, and z exists in two different places right now. So the first thing we always want to do when we deal with solving for variables is get that variable or those variables, if there's multiple of them, on the same side together. So I see that this variable z exists right here and right here. They're not on the same side together right now. So to get this z over to that side, what do we do to move it? Subtract it, right? We just got to get rid of it from here and get rid of it from over here. But when I do that, remember, these are not like terms because this is zy and this is z. They're two completely different terms. So my left side now becomes negative 7x because that did not change, zy because that did not change, minus z now, and my right side is only 40. Now my left side has things I don't want on it because I only want variables that involve z. And right now, I still have a variable that involves not z, so I want to get rid of that. But that term is a negative term because of that guy. So to get rid of a negative valued term, we add it. So we add 7x to completely get rid of that. And again, if I do it on one side, I got to do it on the other. And we get to zy minus z equals 40. Plus 7x. Now, we are close to having z by itself. We've got both of my z terms on the left side, no z terms on the right side, but z right now is connected with actually two different things, one of which you can see and one of which isn't shown. What's z connected with here?
Y.
What's z connected with here?
-1.
A negative 1, because this is actually zy plus a negative 1z, because a minus z term is really adding a, sorry, this is kind of sloppy, is really adding a negative value. And how many z's were there? Well, there was 1. So that was really adding a negative 1z. What we can do now is one of the pieces that people often forget about. I want only z. I have my z here, and I have my z here, but since they're both connected to different things, what do I want to do right here? And you're very, very close with what you said. All I want to do right now is manipulate the left side to make it easier. Is there a way to get the z, 1z, pulled out from both of those? How do I pull out a common factor? What's that process called? We can factor this out. We can factor the z out of this expression on the left-hand side. So since z exists in both terms, take both terms and divide them by z. But I'm not dividing by z on both sides of the equation. I'm just pulling out the z. So essentially, I'm doing the reverse of the distributive property. I'm going to pull a z out front from there and a z out front from there. So this becomes z times, what would z have to multiply by to get zy? Y. What would z have to multiply by to get negative 1z? Well, a minus 1. I could write that minus 1, or I could write it plus a negative 1. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't change it. But for simplicity, I'm going to write it minus 1. That still equals what you had on the right-hand side because nothing changed on the right-hand side. And I really probably should have written that in blue since nothing changed. Now, to get z by itself, there's just one last thing that I need to do.
Right.
by.
By y
Well,
minus 1.
Divide by the y minus 1
So it'd be 40
on both sides.
plus x over y minus.
So this now becomes just z, because a value divided by itself cancels it out. And my right side is 40 plus 7x divided by y minus 1.
So I was just confused on okay, so they're not like terms, they're different terms. So
Z and zy are two different terms
That's why I was
because they involve
confused on.
different variables.
Alrighty, there you go. I got it.
Sweet.
Mr. Hudson.
You are very welcome.
Okay.
Other issues, other questions that we would like to go over together?
I have some other ones